Everyone, this is Lexicon coming at you with another budget deck tech list for EDH slash Commander. And this is by far one of the most fun decks I have ever played because of the synergy between the cards. It's the total package in my mind. So let's just start with the commander. So our commander is Ghoul-Carler Gisa. So she's 5 mana, and for a black, you can sacrifice another creature. And if you do, you create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. So this is good because it works along cards like Champion of the Parish, or we have the Invasion. Where's the enchantment? We have the Dreadhorde Invasion, which at beginning of our upkeep, we lose a life and we amass one. And since we have so many lords in this deck, the zombie is going to get to 6 power very quickly. And then it's going to have lifelink until the end of the turn. So that's cool. So we could always sack it with the commander and then generate a whole bunch of 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So let's try to get into the creature base. So we play Ayara first of the lock lane, just because whenever another black creature ETBs, each opponent loses a life, we gain a life. So we're making tokens, we're draining, and then it also has another cool ability where we could sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. Cemetery Reaper is a lord for us and allows us to exile a creature card from our graveyard to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Like I said earlier, Champion of the Parish is just a very good 1-drop that exponentially gets bigger if the opponent doesn't kill it or deal with it. Crypt Breaker's a solid 1-drop, so for 2 mana, we can discard a card from our hand to make a token. And then the bottom ability is probably what we're going to be using most here, since we can do this at our opponent's end step to tap 3 zombies, draw a card, lose a life. Death Baron is another lord for us and also gives our creatures Death Touch. Death Priest of Miracle, it's 4 mana, another lord, and then at the beginning of our end step, if we had a creature die, we can pay 1 and we make a black skeleton token. I like this card a lot because it's 3 mana and it enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter for each zombie card in our graveyard. And then also, whenever we cast a zombie spell, we make a tapped black zombie, which we can probably just use for fodder to draw cards through like Village Rites or Plumb the Forbidden. Fellstinger is cool too because it's 3 mana. We can exploit one of our tokens to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Genpal Polluter is a very good card to cycle away for 2 because we get to draw a card out of it, and also we can drain a target opponent for 1 life for each zombie in play. Gravecrawler is very good 1-drop because even though it can't block, it just keeps coming back, because as long as we control a zombie, we can just keep recasting it from the graveyard. So we can use this card to draw more cards or sack it with the commander or anything. Yeah, and it just doesn't go away. So I think Gravecrawler is a great card. Grey Merchant is in here not only because it's a zombie, but it's going to gain us a ton of life and drain our opponents too, since most of the time when we play this, we still have 3 opponents alive, hopefully, and then we're going to gain a bunch of life, drain them all. We have the Headless Rider, just because whenever it dies or another non-token zombie creature dies, we get a token out of it. Jadar is a very good 2-drop, which at our end step, if we do not control any creatures with Decayed, we make a zombie. Lord of the Curse is another lord for us and also allows us to tap 2 and tap it, give all our creatures Menace. Lord of the Undead, another lord for us, and 2 mana we can return a zombie card from our graveyard to our hand. Midnight Reaper is in here, so whenever one of our creatures dies, a non-token creature, we'll lose a life and draw a card, but this is not important because we'll be gaining life along the way. Mycaeus, while an expensive card, is very good because our zombies are going to get pumped by this guy. And then also, all of our creatures will have Undying. So whenever a creature with Undying dies, if it had no 1/1 counters on it, it returns to the battlefield. It's going to trigger a whole bunch of things as they ETB. Mercwork Backs is a new card that for 4 mana, it's a flying bat, but whenever we create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses a life. We have Murderous Rider in here just because it's a instant removal spell. That will lose 2 life, but we'll get rid of a target creature, and then after it's on an adventure, its adventure is done, we can cast it. It's a life link, and then when it dies, we put it at the bottom of our library. Plague Belcher is cool. It's a 3 mana 5/4 with Menace that we can put 2 -1/1 counters on each creature you control, and whenever it's a zombie we control dies, each opponent loses a life. So as I was playing a game earlier, I noticed, I was generating tokens off of Dreadhorde Invasion. So I would just equip a Skull Clamp to the Dreadhorde Invasion and then put -2 counters on it and then kill it so that we can draw 2 cards and then the opponent will lose a life. Shamling Gas is great. Works well with Deadly Dispute. It's a good 1-drop that when it dies, we'll create a treasure token. Shepherd of the Rot is in here. It's a 2 mana creature, zombie cleric that we can tap it, and each player loses a life for each zombie in play. Soulless 1, 4 mana zombie that says its power and toughness is equal to the number of zombies in play plus all the number of zombies in our graveyard, which is cool. Works well with our commander. We can sack this guy, make a whole bunch of 2/2 zombie creature tokens. Tainted Adversary is good too. 2-drop that if we kick it, for each time we kick it for 3, we make twice that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with Decayed, and we put that many counters on it. Unbreathing Horde is cool. It has synergy with a lot of other cards in the deck. So when it ETBs, put a 1/1 counter on it for each zombie creature you control and each zombie card in your graveyard, and then if it will be dealt damage, prevent all damage and remove a 1/1 counter. Undead Augur is in here to help us draw cards. We will lose a life from it, but it's cool because drawing cards is great. Lets us see more removal spells. Undead War Chief, it's another lord, but this one gives you +2 and +1, and then it reduces the cost of our zombie spells. And then we have Vengeful Dead. So whenever it dies or another zombie dies, each opponent loses a life. And Zulaport Cutthroat is in here just to ping our opponent for more damage and gain some life by sacking tokens, blocking with tokens, whatever that may be. For sorceries, we only have 3. We're playing Night's Whisper to draw cards, Read the Bone to draw cards, and Sign in Blood to draw cards. And as far as instants go, we have tons of removal, and we also have ways to draw cards. So we have Corrupted Conviction, Village Rites, Deadly Dispute to sack a creature, draw 2 cards, and make a treasure. We play Dark Ritual just to ramp early if we draw early, because the first game I played, I did open with this card, and it was very cool. Defile is another good removal spell, because it's only 1 black, and we can late game blow up almost any creature your opponent has. Drag to the Underworld is another good removal spell, because most of the time it just costs 2 mana, and we destroy target creature. And then we have Rotten Reunion, so we can return a target creature from our graveyard. We exile up to 1 target creature from a graveyard. It doesn't have to be our own, it could be our opponent's. Make a black zombie, and then we can flash it back for 2. And then Shieldrick Edict is just another way to deal with troublesome creatures. As far as artifacts goes, they are mostly the typical ones, but Crowded Crypt is very good. So it's a mana rock, and then whenever a creature we control dies, we put a corpse counter on it. And then for 6 mana, we can sacrifice it to create 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed for each corpse counter on it. So this can get nutty. So we can have like 7 or 8 on this. We sack it, we get 8 tokens. We play the Icon of Ancestry as another way to have a Lord effect, and then we can pay 3 to look at the top 3 cards, and then if there is a zombie among them, we can put it into our hand. And then we also play Nyx Lotus just to help us generate more mana, and then Skull Clamp is in here to attach to our tokens or creatures that we think might die, so we can draw 2 cards. And then as far as enchantments go, we are running a Bad Moon to give our creatures +1/+1, Bash and Remembrance to drain, Dreadhorde Invasion to amass, and then get lifelink. Endless Ring of the Dead is amazing because at the beginning of our upkeep, we can create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, where X is the number of zombies, is half the number of zombies you control rounded down. Ghoulish Procession. Whenever one or more non-token creatures die, we make a zombie token with Decayed. Graft Harvest to give our creatures Menace, and then we can exile a card from our graveyard to put another token on the board. Vampiric Rites is in here to help us draw cards and gain a little life back. And as far as the land base goes, we're just playing 1 Castle Lawnwhale to draw a card and 34 Swamps. So that is the deck in a nutshell. We curve out at 2. This deck is a little bit more on the expensive side at 136, but shouldn't cost too much to build on MTGO, especially if you already have staple cards like the Signets and all this type of stuff, and the Castle Locked-in Whale. So it cost me about $20 to build this online. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this deck. It's super fun, and I will admit it's probably one of the most fun decks I ever played. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It will be uploaded to YouTube later, where you can see links to my social media accounts. And if you like this deck, please subscribe. It will be great to help grow my brand and provide you with content. Have a good day and take care.